Welcome back. I'm Charlie, and this is Benjamin, and we're the Greers. And today, our talk with y'all is going to focus on something that's, I feel like maybe a touchy subject. I think it's a subject that lots of people have questions about, and I know that if I were following someone's story, this would be the question I would have, and it is finances. How are y'all making this work? And I think the very first thing that we want to say and put out there is that it doesn't make sense. I think that when you're following God into a step of faith like that or like this, it's just not logical. We'll talk about the steps that we've taken and that, there's a little bit of money saved up, but I absolutely feel like we will go through all of that money before God's going to reveal to us what we're supposed to do next. Because if money were to still be pouring in right now, there's no faith in that. And so I want to make that clear first. I think people are like wanting us to explain how we think this is all going to work. And the answer is just only but God. I don't think that we can tell you that this makes sense and that we've got this big plan, because if we did, it wouldn't be a leap of faith. So with that being said, a few months ago when Benjamin, knew he was going to quit his job, we did go through our budget and we eliminated anything that was sort of extra that we didn't feel like we needed. And so one of the big things that we got rid of was...
We got rid of our car payments. So we both had cars that were paid for. And my 1996 truck, we upgraded it and we got a Jeep and we're making a payment on it. But February, really, I guess it was more January. We sold it in February, but in January, it was sort of like we just wanted to get out from under that payment. That was actually one of the biggest payments that we had because we were trying to pay it off really quickly. But we sold it and got out from under that and the insurance for it. And so that was probably the biggest thing that we did to open up room in our daily or our monthly budget. And Charlie, I know you had some smaller things that you sort of sacrificed as we prepared for this.
Yeah, I got rid of my La Tote monthly clothing subscription, FabFitFun. I can't, lots of other little things that add up that you don't think about, but we knew that they were unnecessary. And so we don't have car payments. So I think that, we both drive older sort of cars. We're not into having the newest car or anything. So even our car insurance is pretty low. And when we got rid of Benjamin's Jeep and all, that freed up about $500 a month for us. That's how much we were paying for that Jeep and insurance. And it was sad to let go of it, but we knew that, God, I really feel confident that one day we'll be able to have that Jeep and we'll be able to do it debt-free. So we don't have car payments. We got rid of a lot of other little monthly purchases.
Right.
We also, I think, this is a story that we could tell on its own and it lasts a while, but about 6 years ago when we were in the process of building our house, God gave us a number that we should stay under, or very close to, I guess, when building our house. And at the time, we could have afforded a much more expensive house. And at times I was a little resentful that Benjamin was making us stick to that number, because I thought, well, I would really love a bigger laundry room, but we, during that process, really prayed and asked that God would make it clear what we needed and that he would supply some of the wants, and he was totally faithful in that. And because we were obedient during that process and kept that to the number that God gave us, we have an extremely low house payment. It's actually under $600, and so most people pay more in rent than we do for our house payment. So we have an extremely low house payment, which is a huge blessing in this part of our journey. And we're really thankful that God led us in that direction 6 years ago.
And so I think the sort of, as Charlie and I talked about, we're going to talk about this or we're going to share it. I think really what God sort of showed me is as we've been, pursuing his will for our life over the last 8-9 years with our finances, those habits, one that we put in place of not being wasteful and tithing and things like that, now give us the ability to sort of flex this saving muscle and it not to feel like we're sacrificing a huge amount, but also, we have a small house payment because we were obedient then. We also had money saved because we were obedient then, and it makes this journey a lot easier financially when we've seen, I never had a set salary. It was readjusted every year, and so it's been increased and decreased by 20 to 30% from year to year, and so we've learned to sort of rely on God in our wants. We like that job always provided needs, but some of our wants changed from year to year. And I think that that was sort of like the little test to prepare us for this. So this doesn't seem like a huge, crazy, radical thing for us because it didn't start 4 weeks ago when I left my job. It started, nearly a decade ago. And like debt, no student loans, all those things were paid off years ago. No car payments, we were able to pay those off, and then everything we bought after that was cash only. And so those habits have really made this transition, much, much easier. And I think the biggest thing is we don't feel like we're sacrificing everything and living off of just beans because we've practiced this on and off for, 7 or 8 years.
And honestly, God has just given me, I can't speak for Benjamin, but I think for Benjamin too, just such a sense of peace that I think people on the outside are, especially family and friends, get a little worried for us, like, how are you going to do this? But we just have such a peace that God is going to show up. And I think our faith is going to be strengthened. Like nothing we could have ever willingly walked into. I think sometimes God has to get our attention through medical scares. And I think, we're really blessed that God has led us on this journey where we get to rely on Him, and we get to do that in a way that has been a blessing to our family. Our quality of life is just tenfold what it was, 2 or 3 months ago. The joy that our family has as we have been able to just each day be with each other. Like, I would never want Benjamin to go back to his job making that amount of money for us to sacrifice what we have now. So we don't know what God's plans are. We're going to share it here, and we're going to be honest and vulnerable and upfront. But we felt like it was a good time to talk about the fact that we do have money saved. I totally feel like, we're going to go through all that money before God shows up. And I think God has put that in my heart to prepare me that this is sort of the path and the plan, and you don't need to get scared, but I'm going to show up for you. And so that's what I think we really want to convey in this message, is that we just have full 100% faith in God that He's going to provide. And so thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.